You're listening to the Clutter Fairy Weekly, a weekly webcast and podcast brought to you by the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas. If you'd like to participate in one of our live webcasts, please visit cfhou.com/weekly. You'll find a calendar of upcoming webcasts, as well as instructions for joining the Zoom meeting via the app or by phone. We'd love to see you. That URL again is cfhou.com/weekly. Now here's the weekly episode. Enjoy.
Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. This is the Clutter Fairy Weekly for June 16th, 2026. I'm your co-host, Ed Gumnick, and I'm speaking with Gayle Goddard, certified professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas.
Hi, everybody. The Clutter Fairy Weekly is the webcast and podcast that digs deep into the clutter that piles up between you and the life that you want to be living. We explore the habits and behaviors that lead to clutter, and we suggest strategies to slow the accumulation, reduce the collection, and comfortably manage the stuff we decide to keep.
If you're new to our Zoom meeting, we want to let you know that you can share your questions and comments via the chat, and I'll try to make sure Gayle addresses them before we move on to another topic. You can also use the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment via audio or video. And we are streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can share your questions and comments there, and I'll relay them to Gayle. We're going to start by talking about last week's weekly tittle, which was called A Fresh Look. The assignment was to seek a fresh perspective on a space in your home through the lens of your own emotional needs. Let's hear from our participants in Zoom and on Facebook who explored our self-care tittle this week. Please let us know in the comments. YouTube viewer Kimberly Walker 280 shared a relevant comment on last week's video. It wasn't really truly a tittle report, but chiming in on some of what we talked about. Kimberly writes, Gayle, thank you for saying, decorate it in a way that makes you feel peaceful. What artwork and decor do you like to see? If you were here right now, I would hug your neck. Thank you for being an organizer who not only believes in decluttering, but also believes in that person's personality being part of the mix. You're not trying to help make our homes void of color and design. Again, thank you.
You're so welcome, Kimberly. As I already commented on YouTube, actually, have way too many artistic friends to take color and design and how you feel about it out of the conversation. Your home is your place. You pay for it, and you get to do what you want in there. Make it reflect your personality and what brings you joy to see and live in. If that's tons of color and multiple things on the wall, perfect. If that is subdued color and a few sparse things out on all the surfaces, then do that. No one else who doesn't actually live there has to love your place, only you. So thanks for the reminder. It made me, as I read her response, it made me think, it sounded a little bit like she had had some experience where she felt like her sensibility, her artistic reflection was not being accepted in her environment.
Or respected.
And so I was a little, it made me wonder if, she was getting some negative feedback at home about, how the place was being laid out or how it should be set up. Or maybe, some people have like their family members don't live there, but they comment and, make people feel bad about what their houses look like. And I'm like, yeah, you can decorate your house how you want. I'm going to decorate my house how I want. And when I started thinking about my friends, like all of my friends have very interesting houses, but they're all completely different. And they all have a lot of color. They have a lot of art. There's, one of my friends in particular has a lot of big 3D sculptural pieces in the house. Like you need to make it look like what feels pleasing and wonderful to look at to you, and not have the clutter be in the way of seeing what you want to see and having it look how you want to look. And so all of my friends have very completely different homes and they all reflect very distinct personalities. And mine too, like in the moving process, one of my friends said, Gayle, you have a lot of cat artwork. It's like, I do have a lot of cat artwork. For some reason, I have a lot of paintings that have cats in them. It's a thing. And I made some comment about it to one of my friends and she's like, No, I just think of that as you, Gail. It's like, well, thank God, because it looks like a cat lady here lives here. But the truth is, I am a cat lady and I have cats. So, we all have to make our houses reflect. There's not any cat pictures at Ed's house. I'm just saying. So,
No, there are not. Not unless they're waiting around for me to, unless I've drawn a cat and I'm waiting around to give it to the owner.
to the owner of the cat, yes. So, I mean, it is a thing to consider. You don't need to make it fit what your friends think or what your family thinks that don't live there. The people that live in the house need to negotiate about what's okay in the house. And beyond that, and it can be anything that you want because you pay the mortgage. That's what I'm saying. So you get to do whatever you want. And you're right. I would, that is part of when I'm working with a client. I don't want to filter it through what I think is cool. I want to filter through what you think is cool. And you should do the same for yourself. So thank you, Kimberly. We thought that the comment was particularly like you had picked up on the intent of the show. And so we appreciate you giving us some feedback about it. Thank you.
Let me share a couple of tittle reports. Jacqueline writes, I think all my decluttering efforts are working. I used to have a constant feeling that I had so much to do and areas in my house that nagged for my attention. My house is no longer yelling at me all the time. I have decided to take advantage of that mental peace and work on some fun creative projects. I made a beaded hermit crab entirely from supplies I had.
Oh,
I made a mushroom lamp from a cedar stump I'd found. I did spend about $6 on a string of fairy lights for it, but I had everything else, including the lampshade. I
that's
found a
awesome.
project idea that uses stained glass in a repurposed bicycle wheel to make a piece of garden decor. I haven't done stained glass before, but I do have supplies for it, and I'm learning how to do it. If I have a project idea that catches my attention, I will figure it out, even if it means learning something new.
So I love everything about that comment. Let me
Right?
just say,
Yeah.
I love that you're doing crafty things. I love that you're using your own supplies. I love that you're taking the piece that you're getting from decluttering the house and turning it into enrichment and, enjoyment around doing stuff that's creative and artistic. I love that, all of that. That's awesome. And it is 100% true that even if you are tuning it out, the house is still yelling at you in your mind. Like you still have that buzzing, chattery noise that's happening because you know that the closet's a wreck or the junk room's a wreck or fill in the blank, the places in the house that you feel like need attention and you would rather not look at, but they're still mentally talking to you. And so I appreciate that she's done enough work that she can feel the relaxation of having gotten all that in the rearview mirror and now it's not yelling at her anymore. And how fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. I love that.
I also feel like there's a little mini story in there. She's talking about a stained glass project, and she says, "I haven't done stained glass before, but I do have supplies for it, and I'm learning how to do it." So she's turning what was previously aspirational clutter
Yes.
into an active, fun thing that's part of her life. That's so
Current
wonderful.
activity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like she got around to transitioning an aspirational clutter into a current event by getting all the clutter out of her way. That's awesome. And now the supplies that you've been holding on to are going to get used up, and that's wonderful. Cool.
Um, M says, love my houseplants, but having the indoor plant potting stuff hidden in the living room didn't work. Too much dirt.
Right?
I cleared out a lower cupboard in the kitchen for plant supplies, hoping I can make it work.
And planting stuff in the act of how you plant pots, there's no like dirt just escapes. There's no way to cleanly or easily do that without making a mess. Like it's just so insidious. So yes, it's kind of an outdoor activity. Sorry. You have to do it outdoors and then bring the potted plant in if you're going to do that. Yeah. Good try though. You made a college try and you decided it wasn't a system that worked and you're retiring the system and finding something else. And that's really what you got to try stuff and sometimes it doesn't work. So you're doing a good job.
Tammy says, an organizer I hired said my art all over my walls was distracting and added to my ADHD. I felt hurt, and she may have a point, but I feel too exhausted to organize it right now. My art is like my baby's, hand-painted watercolor colors and a few acrylics.
Right? I get that. And and you just have to evaluate whether it really is visually overstimulating to see all of it up, or if there's a way, like it may be that the haphazardness of it is bothersome to the person that's looking at it, but if it's not bothersome to you, maybe it doesn't matter. So I guess you have to evaluate whether you agree that it is distracting versus feeling good to you.
Yeah, making the space feel the way you want it to feel.
And it may also be that you can rearrange the pieces so they're a little bit more orderly. Like maybe they're in a line or in a stack, or in a square. Like create a visual container of how they're set up so that it's a little bit more smooth to look at. So you can sort of address the comment that it might be too haphazard and distracting by making the presentation of it a little bit more aligned, cleaned up. And then some of that, it might be more like a cohesive unit of art on the wall, and then that distraction factor might go away. So you can think about that too, whether that would actually improve it or if it doesn't really help. So, but that's when you'd have to experiment and try.
Yeah. Of course, we weren't party to the conversation, but
Yeah, yeah,
an
yeah.
organizer said my all over my walls was distracting and added to my ADHD. I kind of think, I wonder whether this was someone taking their feelings about your stuff and your art and maybe just trying to find a way into your vulnerability to get you to agree. The
Mm,
blaming, saying it's adding to your ADHD. Well, I mean, Tammy, do you feel like it adds to, ADHD related problems? You know, that's kind of for you to decide.
right.
Or,
Yeah. Is it really
or talk to
distracting or
talk to your
not?
therapist about, not your
Mm-hmm.
professional organizer.
Mm-hmm.
I know professional organizers get into the business of doing therapy as part of their work, but
Yeah. 100%.
yeah, we should probably get on to our main topic.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's so much of it.
Are you having trouble deciding where or how to begin your decluttering and organizing work? Or maybe you're struggling through a big project and you'd like to score an easy win right now. The Clutter Fairy has a few ideas. Today, we're going to suggest 50 items, categories of stuff, spaces, or areas of focus where you can start or re-energize your decluttering and organizing efforts.
Uh, oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think
We're
then we're
good.
ready to go.
Okay. So have you been struggling to get an organizing project underway? Are you feeling completely overwhelmed at the thought of even getting started? Have you worked on it already, but you feel discouraged that you haven't been able to make any progress? Maybe you need some ideas about where and how to get started on a project. We did this Fast and Furious list first in 2014 and then again in 2019. So we figured it was time to update it again. There are tons of ways to dial your clutter back. And if you do some of these suggestions, you'll make a serious dent in your chaos. So get ready. I'm going to run a really long list really fast because there are literally 50 ideas on this list. So you might want to take some notes about the ones that you want to ask questions about later.
I'll jump in right here too and say we're going to the entire list in text form of the items we mentioned in this PowerPoint presentation will be on our website on the show notes page when we get that posted. So you don't have to take copious notes. You could just if there are any you want to talk to us about during the show, you might make some notes.
Make a little jot, right?
Yes. Okay, let's go.
Okay. So here's the Clutter Fairies list of 50 ways to leave your clutter. Number 1, clear out your junk drawer in the kitchen and throw out all the crazy things you stuffed in there to get them off the counter. Number 2, clear off the floor of the closet. You know, that's one of my favorites, right? Just finding the floor will make it so much easier to do the bulk of the work with your clothes later. Number 3, speaking of closets, an easy way to find more room is to pull all the unused wire hangers and take them back to the cleaners. There are tons of them in there, and it's an easy fix. 50 wire hangers all put together might uncover about 6 inches of clothing rod. So it looks like they're wedged in between all your clothes and they don't take up much room. But when you line up a bunch of hangers, wire hangers all together, you realize how much clothing rod space collectively they cover. So it's an easy thing to do, and you have some place to take them. Number 4, time to check out the medicine cabinet and throw out anything that's expired beyond your sense of safety. There's always old meds back there in the back, and some of them aren't even labeled anymore. So I don't know what we do. We take things out of the package, we put them in Ziplocs, we put them in other containers, we put them in travel things, and then we look at them and go, what on earth are these meds? So, go in there, find the stuff that you can't identify, find the stuff that's expired, get it out. Number 5, open the linen closet and pull out all those towels. It's time to donate old, torn, curled up, scratchy, ugly towels to the vet.
Stained. You left out stained.
Oh, stained. Those are absolutely. And don't forget the 48 beach towels in there, especially if you don't go to the beach anymore. I don't know what it is about beach towels. Everybody thinks they have to have one, and then they also think they have to keep 17 of them. And it's like, are you going to the beach? No. Well, okay. Do you have dogs? Like, if you have dogs, then maybe you want these as, wiping down the dog, clean up after the dogs, whatever. But I think that there's always a little collection of beach towels that way outstrips any usage. So get in there, count the towels, see what you got. Number 6, do you have a box in the closet somewhere that's full of old mail that you swept off the counter right before a party, or before your mother-in-law showed up, or because you couldn't stand it anymore? Dig it out and go through that mail. The longer that box has been in your closet, the easier it'll be to get through it. So this is a perfect collection of marinated mail that you can open and get through in a big old hurry.
And it could also just be a small stack that, maybe you're
In the house, you mean?
usually right. Maybe you're usually really good about this, but there was a day when, you came
got
in
away.
and your phone started ringing. You set it down somewhere and it's been there ever since because it was all junk,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
you knew it was junk at the time, right? Time to go dig it out. Okay, number 7. There is a 4-foot high pile of magazines somewhere in your house. So time to go through it with ruthlessness. You're never going to read them all. There's always a bunch of catalogs in there. They're ready to be done. Go, go, go. And so go find the stash. If you have a maid, if somebody cleans your house, and they have been stacking those all up somewhere very neatly in a corner because the magazines get in their way and make them crazy anyway. And so you can go find that pile, or maybe you are cleaning it yourself and you have your own pile. Yeah, go dig out that pile and go through it and decide, yeah, it looked good, but it's still here and it's a year old, and clearly I'm not getting to it. So you need to let it go.
You could also revisit any collections of magazines that you previously organized, in an effort some time ago.
Yeah, in a
You
magazine
you
holder, and
gathered
it's
them up, put them in a magazine holder, put them in the bookcase, and then forgot about them
and then
again.
ignored them. Exactly. Yes, you organized them instead of decluttered them. So now it's time to go back and declutter them. Fair point, Ed. Okay, number 8.
Oops. Sorry.
I'll just bet there's a cabinet in your kitchen with 400 metal water bottles and plastic travel bottles and coffee mugs that you never use. So I have to tell you, I find that cabinet in every kitchen I ever work in. Somebody surrenders an entire cabinet to all of the water bottles and coffee travel mugs that they have. And there's always a million of them because they were easy giveaways for conventions and things back in the day. It's a cheap thing to sell with a logo on it. And so there's always a million of them. And you don't use them all. You have your 3 favorites that you use all the time, and the rest of them you ignore. So it is time to get in there and donate, donate, donate. Recycle those things, get them out. You don't need to have a whole cabinet of water bottles and travel coffee mugs. You're not traveling that much, I'm just saying. Number 9. You probably have a million plastic grocery bags and shopping bags stuffed in cupboard somewhere in your kitchen. And that's a really easy one to thin out and recycle all that excess. It'd be great to get that cabinet back too. I don't know why people, when they move in, they pick the most easily accessible cabinet and start stuffing plastic grocery bags in there. It's a complete waste of a good cabinet. So go empty it out, keep how much you want to keep, but you know you got way more. You shop way faster than you use grocery bags. The
Well,
only,
and
unless you're using grocery bags to scoop your poop in your cat litter box, yeah, you're not using them as fast as you get them.
well, and even even if you're conscientious about this, they accumulate really quickly. Jaime
Mm,
really stays on top of recycling and bags and stuff. And
mm-hmm.
the other day he started gathering them up and found a cache of them where he'd just tucked them away at some point, I suppose, meaning to deal with them later. And there were another 30 plastic grocery bags.
Surprise, right? Yeah, they can be crushed and crushed and crushed again. It's amazing how tight of a space they can be fit in. But that also means that you can stuff into a cabinet and never run out of space for a year, and then suddenly you have plastic bag explosion in there. So time to get in and thin and out.
Uh, M said, Egad, my senile neighbor gifts me with his grocery bags. I
Aw,
send them to the women's shelter secondhand shop.
there you go. They
It's a
can
great
be
idea.
reused, right?
Yeah.
It's nice of you not to give him back. Like if he's, senile and he thinks he's helping with the bag. So you're just helping him close the loop, which is very kind. Okay, number 10. I bet it's been a while since you cleaned out the fridge. So make some room for new food and dump the stuff that is growing penicillin in there. If you have some science experiments running in the back, you need to go get them out. And maybe wipe down a counter or two. But that's an easy one to do because you can do it one shelf at a time. You don't have to do it all at the same time. And one shelf gets clean, it makes the other ones look awful. So go in there and start cleaning.
It's also a good time to evaluate the quality of your containers.
Yes.
Get rid of that sheds spread plastic, thing that the butter substitute came in, and
Yeah, yeah.
maybe, trade it in for some better quality ones. Who knows?
Right. That you probably already have, right? That you're
Right.
actually are in your cabinets right now. Glass containers with lids, snap-on container plastic, boxes. Like you got stuff to use. So throw out the makeshift ones and get out the real ones you bought and start using them.
And purge any, when you're purging the fridge is a good time to get rid of any containers that are damaged or stained.
Right? If the damaged or stained container has dead food in it, it can all go in the trash. You
Right.
don't have to worry about it, right? You just let it all go. Okay, number 11. Mom, it's time to dig out that ever growing stack of paper that your kids have brought home from school. Their artwork isn't that great, and you don't need 500 examples of it. If your kids are grown, go find the stash that you populated a decade ago because it's time to filter it. And if you don't have kids, you can go through your own keepsakes or photos and filter them for the passage of time because not all keepsakes hold up over the passing decades. I have pulled out some things and thought, why did I save that? Who is that person? What is the point of this card? Like that person isn't in my life anymore, and I don't care about that card anymore. So there's an evolution to keepsakes as well.
If you're a childless artist, instead of decluttering kids' artwork, you could consider decluttering early
Your own
work.
marker,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
You
That's a
know,
good
I
idea.
when I started drawing, my recent drawing habit 6 years ago, I kept everything I did for a while, and no matter how scribbly and ridiculous. And really, it took me several years before I said, I don't really have to keep them all. This is not going to turn into an undiscovered masterpiece someday just
Well, and
because
it's
I
not going to be something you're going
kept
to
it
work
long
to,
enough.
yeah,
Right.
to
I'm not going to return
recapture
to
it.
it. Yeah, I'm not going to return to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good for you. Fair point. Okay. Number 12. Check out the cabinets under the sink in the kitchen and the bathrooms. These are mini junk drawers for some reason. I'm not sure how it came to be, but that's what they are. They aren't very big and they can be culled really quickly. And there's lots of unused cleaners under there. So it's time to consolidate those cleaners, throw out or give away cleaners that you will never use in your own home. We all acquire, buy, try things that later we're like, yeah, I don't like how that works, or I didn't think that did a good job, or I don't like the smell, or whatever, whatever. There's always cleaners in there, and you feel like it's a cleaner, I shouldn't throw it away. Except it's no different than anything else. It's no different than the clothes in your closet. If you won't use it, it doesn't matter that it still is actually a cleaner. You're not going to use it. So you can either give it away to your friends, or you can try to donate it, or you can throw it out. Whatever makes you happy. But you don't need to let it live and die in your under sink cabinets because they are chemicals and they will eventually, the cans rust, the plastic gets eaten away, things start to leak and drip and run and whatever. And so you don't need it in there causing a toxic chemical soup problem in your cabinet. Go and get it out of there and throw it away. And try again and leave what's under there, have under there what you actually use in that area, and let the other stuff be gone, gone, gone. Go into your file cabinet if you're old enough to have one. Go into your file cabinet and pick a drawer and go through that drawer's files. Most of that paper is really well marinated by it's been hanging in there for a long time, and you can easily toss a lot of it. You can certainly thin the herd. If you're young enough to not have big filing cabinets in your house, congratulations. And then you just have a bunch of digital clutter instead, like a million photos. So you can spend some time culling your photos instead. But ultimately, big stacks of full four drawer file cabinets is a sign of you grew up in the age of saving paper, and having file cabinets at the office was like bringing file cabinets home was like, ooh, I got storage for like the office has at my house. It's a thing that those of us of an age can relate to. But I think that we no one keeps that much paper anymore, and you don't need that much file capacity in your house. A two-drawer file cabinet, one lateral file cabinet is probably enough for the stuff that you have for your house in paper form. And in the meantime, those 47 file cabinets that are in the back of your closet somewhere or in your office, like, let them go. It's time to clear it out, time to empty it out, and often use that file cabinet for something else.
I'm going to share a comment before we move on. Barbara says, I just emerged from my closet. Everything is off the floor. One task done.
Ooh, look at you. Top of the list already. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Way to get into immediate action.
We are not expecting you to do all 50 of these things.
While we talk. Yeah.
Right.
But good job, man. That's awesome. Okay, this is another one that reflects our age as well. Who has a big stash of office supplies? Can you possibly use all of them in your lifetime? That's the question. We all keep office supplies that are mostly obsolete now. So it's time to donate to a teacher who's using her own money for classroom supplies, and to throw out dated supplies that no one uses anymore. Sometimes I go, this is how like I'm working in an office that is populated by somebody older than me, because I will find those little reinforcement donuts that had glue on them that you used to put on the holes of
Oh my
punched
gosh, yes.
paper
Yeah.
to use in the ring binder. For some reason, there's always a box of that. I'm like, are you really using those? Naomi says she is. Isn't that so funny? Well, but that's what I'm saying. That reflects there are supplies that reflect how we managed paper before the advent of computers. And so there are supplies out there that just make no sense for anybody anymore. So pull them out, send them on, get them out of there. And they're taking up a lot of space. You haven't touched them in forever. And so you don't need to be keeping a massive collection of office supplies in your house anymore.
I in my own experience, I went from you remember the IKEA supply cabinet that I used to have?
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah. That was huge.
floor to ceiling in,
Yes, it was
in a room
massive.
with an 8 foot ceiling. It was floor to ceiling. It was probably like 4 feet wide and about, oh, I don't know, it was at least 20 inches deep. And that thing was always full of stuff. And
Right.
now every time I have moved, I've reconsolidated office supplies into a smaller container. And now our office supplies are in like two small plastic totes. And
And
every time I get into them, I see another thing that I know I'm not going to use again
right, like not
and
ever.
take it
And
out of
back
there.
in the day when because you were actively doing graphic design and you had a business and you were working with clients and it wasn't all digital work, you were doing graphic design that
Right,
was
right.
paper based as well. And so the supplies in the cabinet back in the day made sense. But your business has evolved a lot, and even delivery of paper products like you design somebody's business cards and then they go to the printer and the printer sends it like you don't need the supplies for the business card.
Right. And we used
They're
to,
going to go to the printer, right?
and you used to have to take your digital files and put them on some kind of portable media,
Flash drive, yeah.
floppies and flash drives and zip drives and CD, writable CDs. And
Not
you had to have
anymore.
labels for all that media, and then you had to have the envelopes you'd stick them in to send them by courier across town to the printer, and all
Right.
and all of that's gone now. So,
Yeah,
uh,
100%. So yeah, I mean, the supplies made sense when the cabinet was populated the first time. but you have definitely evolved past that for sure. Yeah, well, there you go. That's the
Con
nature of office supplies.
Connie says, Gail, we still have the cards one needed for computer programming.
Yeah, that's just like artwork now. That's just art supplies now.
She said, but she says, waiting to donate them to our technical museum.
Well, jump on that. You better jump on that, sister. That's what I'm saying.
Right
Okay, next one
before.
we're gonna be behind here. We got to
Okay,
roll.
okay.
15 is about books. Are you a bookworm? Then try going over your book stash and donating books you've already read and you didn't like, or that don't seem worth keeping once you've read them, or books that you receive from others that just don't really interest you. I know book people find it distressing, but there's always 10% of the books that can come out. So go dig through and find the 10% that's ready to go. 16. Look at that cute little dog. I love that little dog so much. If you have pets, then you have a stash somewhere of tried and rejected or completely destroyed pet toys. So it's time to throw in the towel and throw out or donate the rejects. I mean, the ones that the dog has shredded, you've probably already thrown most of it away anyway, but there's always ones that you think it's going to be so cute and you buy it and the pet is like, I'm not interested. Cats are notorious for that. They'll play with the packaging more than they'll play with the toy. So you need to go in and the ones that were not fun to people, out it goes. 17 is about computer geeks. You're up in the hot seat. I know that all those computer geeks out there, and particularly those early adopters, you have tons of old, outdated electronics stashed around the house. I once took an entire carload of dead electronics to my recycling, all from one house as they were getting ready to move. She was definitely an early adopter type person, and I filled the car from floor to ceiling with electronics. And when I pulled up to the electronic recycling place, they were like, you're really only supposed to bring 5 pieces. It's like, I swear I'll never do it again. I swear, please, please, please. And so they let me off. They made an exception and let me offload that day. But oh my gosh, you all have dead electronics in your house and you need to make that trip to electronic recycling and get them out of there. Number 18, what about a music collection? Do you have a music collection that fills a room somewhere? You don't love 100% of that music, so pull out ones that don't pass muster to you anymore. It's okay if your musical tastes have changed over the years or you tried something and you didn't really enjoy it. Maybe, you bought an album and thought this might be interesting and then it really wasn't. So go through and filter out things that are not really special to you. And whatever medium it is, we put those cool cassettes on there just because they were fun. But, we're talking about cassettes and albums and CDs and whatever versions of, music collection you have. It's physical. Crafters, you know who you are. Go into your craft room, open the box or the drawer that has the most dust on it, and donate some of those supplies to a school, please. You know there's things in there that you put in there and you've never taken out. And so you know what craft supplies are interesting to you in the moment. You need to go and get the ones that aren't interesting to you and get them out of there. Number 20, you can have too many holiday decorations. What didn't get used this year probably needs to be retired. So donate to an office collection that is decorating or to a school collection. You can relocate this stuff and somebody else can use it. You don't have to store it in your house, especially if it's not one you're putting up.
And we usually talk about decluttering holiday decorations right after the holidays, but I think, you know, decluttering Christmas in July is not that bad an idea because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's no, the stuff won't have the same emotional resonance right now. You might be a little able to be a little more objective about it.
Right. And if the school gets the collection in August or September, then it's a few months away from when it's going to get used. And so then they are more remembering that it's there and can add it into their existing stash. And so it'll get used right away. And so look at it over the summer, see if you can let some of that stuff go. Here's the pantry version. When did you last empty out your pantry? You know it looks like this picture, right? So if it's full to the edge, then take the time to take it all out and throw away the expired foods and then throw out the food that nobody actually likes. And you can do it just one shelf at a time if you want, but this is one where we filter out expired foods and then you also need to go and filter out the foods that you bought and tried and everybody hated it because you don't have to keep it if no one's ever going to eat it. You might as well let it go. And if it's still good, you can take it to a shelter and donate it. Food bank, food pantry. Then also in the kitchen, do you have a kitchen cabinet full of last year's crazy kitchen gadgets? That's one thing to ask yourself. Get in there and get real about will ever see the light of day again. You can pull out one drawer and see what's in there if that's easier. But basically, look at your collection of gewgaws in the kitchen. It's usually an upper drawer that has a bunch of, spatulas and random things to stir and measure and cut and trim and whatever. And you've thrown it all in one drawer and you go fishing through all that soup in order to get the 5 things that you use all the time. And so it's time to go in there and just remove some things that have gone in and never come out. And you're never going to use them and you might as well get them out of your way.
The grapefruit knife. Did anyone else grow up with a grapefruit knife?
No,
Very silly
I've
gadget.
seen them. Yes. Yes.
It's
I'll bet
like a
you.
knife, but not good for anything else but grapefruit.
Right? Alicia says she uses one. That's funny. Oh no,
Oh, wow.
that's funny.
All right.
See, we have that. Other people are chiming in. That's so funny. There you go. They remember. Okay, I will bet that you have a buffet in the dining room that is full to bursting. Dig it out and let go of some of that never used stuff that you kept for entertaining. I just did this with my client that's in North Carolina, and we do it on Zoom. And she has this big buffet in the dining room, and it was completely stuffed. And I'm like, okay, we got to pull everything out. And so she started pulling it all out and putting it on the table, and she was like, oh my God, I don't want that. I never use that. Like, we had these conversations about, she was trying to sort them and categorize them and stuff. And we went through a lot of, no, I don't think so. And now when she opens the buffet, there's like space, all the things she sees, she uses, and there's space around them. And every time she opens the door, she's delighted. And so, you use that buffet as a safe place to hide stuff. So you might as well get in there and get some of that stuff out. Stop hiding it and donate it. Do you trade out your purses for every outfit? If you do, get out all those purses in your closet, and because you never emptied them 100%. It's time to empty them. And I bet you find your favorite lipstick in there too. Every time I go in somebody that trains their purses out, every time I go and I open the purse to see what's in there, there's always leftover cough
So,
drops and the 5 pieces of makeup they took with them to that show, and there's crumbled up Kleenex and over receipts, and there's just 90% trash, some things to capture. There's always some leftover trash that needs to be handled in there. So go dig out your purses. In a related item, you can pull all those receipts out of your current purse or your current wallet, depending, and see if they can be tossed now. So don't call them all tax receipts. You know they're not. If you can't deduct it, then you don't need to keep it. So you can't deduct McDonald's receipts. That's what I'm saying. If you have a bunch of fast food receipts in your purse, you know that there's nothing about that is usable. So out it goes. You can also refuse a receipt. Don't forget that. Okay, number 26. Corral your shower products in shower caddies to keep them from covering the edge of the tub all the way around. And don't forget to throw out products you didn't like. I have been in lots of tubs with showers that are in tubs, and there's always this big line of product around the edge, right? And it's things that went there and then never got released. And so I would go and consciously make choices about all the things that are sitting on the edge. Do you love it? Do you use it? Is it a flavor that you like? Et cetera, et cetera. And thin the herd. Don't get it all out. Don't store it all on the tub. And the things that you keep in the tub, get it in some kind of caddy so that it doesn't have to live on the edge.
And
Shampoo bottles with dust on them have to go. Absolutely.
as someone with someone who is 6'4" with like a 7-foot wingspan, I also, urge you to get rid of anything that gets knocked over anytime a tall person uses your shower.
That makes me so annoyed. I do that too. Like I'll knock things off the edge and I'll be like, oh, I do not want to be bending over and picking up all the stuff I knocked down. So yeah, it's a good thing. You're just making it easier for yourself. Also in the bathroom, go to your stash of lotions and potions and makeup and thin the herd. It's time to go through that pile and get it down to what you will use. Give away colors and scents that you don't like and throw out things that aren't safe for your face anymore. You know that there's parameters around which you don't need to keep using it. And so if you think that there's a bunch of bacteria in there, out it goes. If you tried that flavor because you thought it sounded like a good idea based on the name, and then when you open it up, you're like, ew, I don't like how this smells, then there's no point in keeping it. You need to let somebody else have it that'll love the scent. It's just going to sit there and die otherwise, so get it out of there. If you have young kids, it's time to cycle out their clothes. Half of what's in the closet and drawers they can't wear now anyway. If your adult children left high school clothes in their closets when they moved out, same thing applies. They're not wearing their high school clothes anymore. It wasn't worth it to them to take them with them. They don't need to live in your house for 20 years. So get in there, dig it out. Time to donate away. Another abundance in kids' rooms are their toys. So go looking for the toys that are too young for them now, or they tried and they didn't like, or they liked them so much that they've destroyed them. And, you can throw the destroyed ones away, but the other ones that they're not into anymore, it's time to send them off to a classroom or a daycare center or something. Get those extra toys out of there. Every woman has a jewelry stash that is in too small of a space. So free up some space by looking through that stash and see what can be donated or given away. You have always bought costume jewelry. There's always been things that you receive from people as gifts at the holidays or on your birthday. There are things in that jewelry stash that you would really never put on. And so it's time to dig through that pile, release, release, release. Make it easier to find the ones you love. I'm going to say the magic word now. Shoes. You have too many, you do. And some are falling apart in the closet, so it's time to call them. I actually just saw a YouTube video, a short of people wearing shoes that they pulled out of the closet that the soles were crumbling under them, like they had dry rotted in the closet, and they went to go walk on them and they just plop, plop. And it was all these videos of people stepping and moving the bottom of the shoe and having the shoe just sort of crumble away. It's like, yeah, you waited too long to put those shoes back on. I'm just saying. Time to call them. Are you a decorating diva? If you change out your decorations for every season, then you need a lot of tchotchkes and lots of room to store them. But if you're not that active a decorator, you've got a stash of tried and retired decorating objects, things that you thought you might use and then you didn't end up liking them. So it's time to pass them on. You don't need to store them just because they're still useful, in air quotes. You need to move them along if they're not things you want to decorate with. Don't use your valuable space for things you don't want. The laundry room, those cabinets in the laundry room that have things in them that haven't seen the light of day for months, they are a great place to clean out and regain space. And they're always the most awkward cabinets because you have to reach over the washer and the dryer and above. It usually involves getting on a ladder, and so things get put up there, and then you never go and get on the ladder again to go get the stuff down. So I'm telling you, go get on the ladder, get the stuff down, and find out if it's something you really want or if it's something you stashed up there to get it out of the way. So go clean them out and see what can be released. Your bedside tables catch a lot of junk on your way to bed, so dig those tables and drawers out and freshen up your bedtime routine. You come to bed every night with fill in the blank list of things, and things get put as you sit in the bed, things get put over to the side of the bedside table. And I have seen some crazy busy bedside tables with things knocked off the edge onto the floor because it was overcrowded. So um, that's a good place to go and refresh, clean up, and give yourself a clean space again. And you see it every night, and so you get a great reward from looking at it all the time. The garage has a lot of hot spots. It's the last stand where everything goes to die. So you can pick any corner and find things that have overstayed their welcome. There's no need to tackle the whole garage at once. You can just work on a little small area and just repeat, today, tomorrow, the next day. Go into one corner, work in that one corner, go back in the house. Get rid of some stuff because there's things out there dying right now.
And I think for, purposes of the tittle, which we'll talk about a little later, you could make it as simple as go find one thing that you put in the garage because you weren't sure you were ready to let go of it, and now you are.
Yeah, and let it go, 100%. Been under the bed lately? Besides the dust bunnies, I bet you can find some great lost treasures that need to live in a new home and certainly don't need to stay with you anymore. It is one of those places that we stash things so we don't have to think about them. And it could be valuable space for you if you clear out the things that are under there you don't need to have. So time to go see what you've hidden under there from yourself, pull it out and see if some of it can be released. Now we're going to talk about things that you can add. So this one is about creating a new habit for your incoming mail. Make a landing place for it, a shallow landing place, and then process the mail more often. So let the new shallow tray be a way that you are prompted to handle the mail more frequently. Add containers that are designed for the fridge and or a lazy Susan to the fridge so you can get better access to all the storage. I think these clear acrylic, pull out, they're long and narrow, they have handles, they have lips, it's easier to grab them and slide them out. And that way you can fill those things up, you can pull a container out, get what you want, put it back. It makes it easier to access the full capacity of the fridge and keep the stuff organized and keep it from, drooling on the surface of the of the shelf in the fridge. And so I think those containers actually help the fridge function better.
Yeah, fridges are a little too deep.
Yes.
The average fridge is a little too deep to be really practical, but we want that space, but then it's really hard to get at stuff, and things get pushed to the back. And these
And
these long
if you have a full
things,
fridge.
yeah, these long containers can make it easier to really use all of your space.
Yeah, I think so too. It was a good adaptation. You want to add shallow containers, like these little acrylic shallow containers. So they're really like 2 inches wide at the most, into medicine cabinets that hang on the wall. So they hold all these little bits like nail clippers and lip balms and Neosporin like squeeze tubes of medicine. There's all kinds of little tiny gewgaws that happen in the bathroom that end up in the medicine cabinet on a shelf. And if you go to grab one, you knock 37 things off on the way out. So these little containers that are narrow enough to sit on the shelves contain the stuff. You can pluck out what you want without destroying and knocking everything down. It makes it much easier to manage those narrow, shallow medicine cabinets. Add some flexible, bendy, movable, open containers to kids' room for their toys. This is something that it's open container, so it's easier for them to put things away. It is soft-sided, so it can flex. They don't have to get the object 100% exactly correctly in the container if the sides move around a little bit. So it's easier for kids to manage to put stuff in and out. That's a good container to get to little kids in particular. Store some kitchen gear in a clear plastic box, or like this one is a wire metal. It's a metal box, but it has mesh on each end so you can see through it. So it's easy to get everything in there, and you just pull the box out. So I'm thinking of, what's the like a mix master comes with accessories that
Right.
you trade them out depending on what you're trying to do with it, or
Right.
what's the
Food
cutter
processor
one.
has
Yeah,
different
thank you.
blades, right? And
Yeah, and different attachments, and so keeping them all together and not having just in a drawer or sitting on a cabinet somewhere trying to, and then they like get in the way of other stuff. And so, and this is a great way to contain those pieces and be able to slide them in and out of your cabinets easily without interfering with the rest of the cabinet.
we have a shallow basket where we put all of the measuring cups and measuring spoons
Mm,
and the blades for the stand mixer, the there's a whisk
yeah,
attachment and
there's
a
other attachments for that thing.
I forget what they call it.
There's a
There's
bread hook
the
and
dough
there's a,
hook, right? And then
yeah,
the normal paddle, I guess they call it.
yeah,
All of those go in the same basket. So when I'm, getting ready to bake something, I can just pull out that one basket.
and
And
solve the
we
problem.
use some similar things in the pantry too. We've
Mm.
grouped together, like baking powder, baking soda, various flours, various sugars are all in one big basket.
For the baking
Yeah.
project, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly right. Okay. Add some multiple hooks on the closet wall if you want to hang up long jewelry or if you want to hang up scarves or in particular hats. Like I've this little picture of this tall hook will allow you to have a bunch of hats hanging on it at once. For somebody that lives with, if you wear a bunch of baseball caps, my dad wears one. He's bald on the top. He wears baseball caps a lot. He has a big collection. So, if that's you, if you try to manage them in the closet, it's hard. And having them just sit on shelves is really a pain in the patootie. So, you can add in a few hooks on the closet wall and contain your hats. It's a great way to do it. Get each of your kids a labeled large basket in the mudroom. And if there's not any kids in the house, you can have them for the adults. It can be a landing pad for kids coming in from school or you to drop backpacks, sports, school gear, that all kinds of stuff, preventing other items from drifting under there. You don't want you don't want to lose the track of what they're bringing in, and you don't want them to just go pluff and drop it all off when they come in the house.
On the first horizontal surface they pass.
Right. And so if you give them a basket, they can at least park their stuff. And then when it's time for homework, they can come back and pull their backpack and find their whatever, where's the soccer shoes, whatever. Like there's always things that come in with kids and just get dumped. And I know as a mom, it makes you insane when that happens. But as a grown up, you have the same issue. Like you come in with a bunch of stuff, and here's the umbrella, and here's the coat, and here's the scarf, and the gloves, and all the things that you come in with, and you start shedding it when you get in the house. And if there's some place for it to go, at least it gets it out of your way. It gets it out from underfoot.
This could be a good place to stash the leash and harness and the
The
dog
dog can have a
the
basket.
dog water the portable water bowl.
Yeah,
Make little
yeah,
collapsible water bowls and
all that.
the poopy bags, poopy bag
100%.
dispensers and refills.
Right? Yeah, if because that's you're certainly not they're not pooping. You're not using those poop bags in the house. So
Right.
if they're on if they're on a waste in a bin on the way out of the house, that's a great idea. Okay, next. Under bed boxes can store the out of season clothes and shoes, and it gives you the added benefit of preventing other things from drifting under the bed. So the cat's still going to go in there under the bed, but you can keep other things from going under the bed if you have these kind of under bed storage and you use them for things that you're going to actually get in and out occasionally. Great idea. Take advantage of over the door shoe organizers. They can be hung on many doors in your house. In this particular instance, they're actually hung on a pegboard, but you can use them for clothes in the shoes in the closet, cleaning products in the laundry room, toys in the kids' room, craft supplies in the craft room. And it's basically a hanging multi-pocket clear plastic container holder thing that you can hang up and put all kinds of stuff in. So take advantage. This ceiling storage in the garage over the garage door some of it's over the garage door, some of it's along the side of the garage. It's a great way to hide camping gear, holiday decorations, things that don't come out very often. You can get it up over your head and it's out of the way until you absolutely need it and you're not like walking around it in the garage. So take advantage of the, for the full vertical space in the garage and, get one of these upside down hanging things to store stuff in there. Magazine holders are very adaptive to other areas, and in particular, you can add magazine holders into the pantry to hold foil, wax paper, plastic wrap kind of stuff. Or you can use them in the kids' craft area with loose paper and pads. You can also use them on bookshelves for thin books that don't stand up well on their own. It's just a great way to containerize stuff that, when stored, awkwardly fall over or are easy to knock out of place. They're great for that. 3 more to go. Add a bills box with a lid to the active desk space. So you can put bills that are going to be paid in the box until it's time to pay them. You don't lose them that way. You can find them when it's time. And hopefully the box is big enough for 1 month's worth of bills. So in theory, you're constantly taking out and putting in. It's a churning box. So I thought that wooden one was really pretty. He picked a pretty box. Add some small bins in any drawer with a lot of little things to help control the stuff. So think of a shallow desk organizer as one unit with a bunch of compartments. That concept works in any drawer to hold small items and it can be the multiple small bins separately like these are here versus one segmented desk drawer organizer, and it accomplishes the same thing. Basically, you're subdividing any kind of a flat drawer into a bunch of small containers. And so, yep, cut up cereal boxes, done that too. So it's just a way to create some containerization in a small, shallow space and keep up with a bunch of little bitty items that would normally make a really big, clutter soup in your drawer.
Right. They'll all roll around and get mixed together.
Right? Number 50. The last thing to help you is to go pull up some Clutter Fairy Weekly videos on YouTube and watch a show a day to keep you inspired. You won't run out of material for 492 episodes currently. So that should help you get going. There is some video out there that is exactly covering the topic that you need. And Ed has created playlists that are by category, so you can go look at a specific category and go through the videos that talk about address that category. There's a million ways to spy through our videos and get some support on whatever you're trying to do. So take advantage of that channel, take advantage of that library, go dig in and find the stuff that helps you keep going. Because you can have me chattering and Ed chattering in your ear all day long if you want. We will keep you company while you do stuff. Okay, we made it to 1 o'clock straight up. Yay!
Yeah, we are a little past time actually. And so we're just going to race through our closing announcements. But this is a good point at which to remind the larger audience that if you join us for the Zoom meeting, we hang around for a few minutes afterwards and chat with anybody who's still with us in Zoom. So you can, ask us questions you're too embarrassed or ashamed to share with the larger world. So come join us in Zoom if you've never done that. It's a lot of
Chat
fun.
in our community and make friends with other decluttering people.
We will be back next week at the usual time. Watch your email for an announcement of the topic. And our weekly tittle for this week is Gayle, you were thinking items?
Yeah, I think 3. You
Three,
got 50 to choose from. Surely you can find 3.
right? So we will post the list of the 50 items we talked about on the website. If you go to cfhou.com/TCFW307, that is where our show notes will be when they're published.
TCFW, the Clutter Fairy Weekly. That's what
Yeah,
the alpha is.
I'm going to put that in the chat for anybody who's with us in Zoom. There we go. All right. Um, let's see. I've got to find my closing announcements. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love for you to join us live.
Yes, please.
To get notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group by visiting cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by visiting cfhou.com/Facebook or join our mailing list by visiting cfhou.com/subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, so please keep your questions, comments, and topic suggestions coming on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere that you find us. You can always reach us through the website at clutterfairyhouston.com.
And as a reminder, cfhou.com/YouTube, if you want to take advantage of the video library and listen to all 492 episodes of us talking, like and subscribe for us there to help us, be presented to other people as a resource. So we would love for you to join us in that effort. Thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Thanks for enduring a line of really 50 very rapidly offered suggestions. But, we love to share good ideas with you. And so I hope you enjoyed them. And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.